Hello and welcome to the Freshwater Yankee podcast. As always, I'm your host, Wendell Riley. And listen, I know you all have been patiently waiting for this episode. I had to take a small hiatus. Life and work just got in the way of things, which is pretty common among podcasters. But, truth be told, even though I was extremely busy, I was also a little stuck in terms of what episode to put out next, especially coming off of what I thought was a really great episode with Dr. Charlene Senegal de Queer of Xavier University, Louisiana, where we talked about the African diaspora and the influence of it on the modern world. So I was just kind of trying to figure out what the next episode was. And funny enough, I was preparing for a class that I just taught at Centenary College in Shreveport, and I ran into Stephen Vekovius, who is a good friend of mine. I was at a coffee shop just kind of prepping for my class, and I looked up and he was there, and we decided to have lunch. And so I met Stephen in 2012 when I joined Moonbot, which is an animation studio that was here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And Moonbot was just coming off of an Oscar win, and Stephen and his team provided IT support for the entire studio, including the render farm. And Stephen was and still is a larger-than-life character. He is extremely smart. He's very funny, and most of all, he's very, very interesting to talk to. And so a few years ago, he sold his very successful IT company and began a journey of self-discovery. And it has been really, really cool to just check in with him and chat about it from time to time. Now, that said, I really had no plans on Stephen being the next Freshwater Yankee guest. But when we met for lunch, we actually started talking about life and where we are. And he asked me about the podcast, and I told him what it was about. And the conversation took a rather unexpected turn because Stephen explained that he had many similar experiences to me, even though I was born in Trinidad and came to Shreveport, Louisiana as an adult. He was actually born in Baton Rouge and then came to Shreveport as a very young child. But we got to talking about his ethnic and cultural background and how those things set him apart from the crowd and how those things shaped who he is today. So the episode that you're about to listen to is part 1 of 2, because we had a really long conversation about all kinds of stuff, and we basically started at childhood and then ended up kind of where we are today as essentially middle-aged men who, for all intents and purposes, we try to be leaders in spaces that we are in, and we try to give back to our communities. And so I hope you enjoy. And before we go any further, please remember to like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review on your favorite platform. It helps us reach a wider audience, and it allows us to have meaningful discussions about culture, the movement of people, and the similarities we all share. So right now, we'll just drop right into the conversation, and I hope you enjoy. So, Stephen, let's just jump in, right? So tell me a little bit about your background, how you got, because I met you in Shreveport. Like, you were here when I came, right? I have always been sort of the outsider. So tell me a little bit about your story and how you got to Shreveport and.
Okay, well, thanks for having me first.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again and reconnect. I had a good time at lunch the other day. Well, my parents are both from Detroit, Michigan, so up north. They're both Yankees, so I think it's fitting that your name of your show
is a Yankee. Yeah.
Right. I don't know the tie yet, but I think it's there somewhere. We'll find it as we go. And so my dad was finishing up his doctorate in mathematics at the time. This is like in the late 60s. And so they had more mathematicians on staff at LSU Baton Rouge than they did at Ann Arbor. And so, Ann Arbor, Michigan, for University of Michigan. So both of my parents, interestingly enough, graduated from college from Wayne State University.
Okay.
Which is pretty interesting to say the least, especially back then. Both my parents were born in the early 40s. So, when I ended up coming down to New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and that's where I was born.
Okay.
So I was born in Baton Rouge. And then my dad got a job at LSUS as a professor.
Okay.
And that's what brought us to Shreveport.
Gotcha.
So I was a young boy. I was probably maybe 3 or 4. I don't know. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what got me here. And then they started to my dad stayed there for a while, and then he went to the med school. And I just started to stay around here. I went to Montessori school, the original Montessori school of Shreveport. And then from there, I went to Young to AC Steer, which is a great school, and then middle school at Middle Magnet, first 7th grade class there. And then I went to Magnet High,
Yeah.
and then Louisiana Tech. And so I found that this is kind of a place that had a lot of need. So I didn't go look anywhere else for a job. And my father at that time had started a software company in 81 called SoftDisk. And so I left college and went back to work for him for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of and then from there in 1995, I started my business. I went to work for EDS out of Plano in 97 to 2000. And then 2000, I went full time with my business.
Gotcha.
Too many people called me for help, and I just said, okay, there's got to be a reason why I'm doing this. So I just started doing it.
And started charging for it.
Yeah. And along the way, I got certified as a Microsoft certified systems engineer back in the late 90s. And I kept that renewed for a little bit. And then after a while, it just became a business to run. Okay. So that's kind of it in a very short time frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Okay. And I just want to tease this because I hope at some point we could sit down and maybe have a conversation about SoftDisk. But that tree that you are part of is like one of the most influential software companies foundationally in the United States and probably worldwide in terms of the stuff that you guys were doing before anybody else was doing. You truly were pioneers. So this is not just like a local deal. Like there are branches
there's lots of cool branches.
Yeah.
That would be a fun, like just to sit down and draw those out, just to see all the things that they were doing back then. Mm-hmm. And the only thing I will say of all of it is SoftDisk was in 1981 is when it started. And it was for the Apple II, and it was a subscription-based model.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so here we are in 2026.
Yeah.
And you subscribe to software now.
Yeah.
It's funny how it went, like SoftDisk was way country.
In 81, y'all were doing subscription-based stuff.
Country before country was cool, right? Everybody from then started growing, and you bought software retail at Babbage's and CompUSA.
Right.
And then you could download it, of course, once the internet came around, and people bought software, package software.
Yeah.
And it was yours. Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
SoftDisk.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. The first PC that we owned in my family back in Trinidad was an Apple IIc.
I remember that.
Yeah, we weren't cool enough to get the 2E because it was a little more expensive. I had my cousin James and Felicia, they had the 2E, but we had a 2C. But it was awesome, man.
Oh,
I played Castlevania on it.
Did you put the little disc in? Shut it? Did you type? Yeah. That's right. You ran off a floppy.
Yes. And I could still remember the sound of it booting up.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. And then you get your little C prompt and
that was it.
Yeah.
And then you just change it to your drive letter and you start launching.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite games ever was on the Apple II.
So you are from Baton Rouge, but sort of like, Detroit is kind of the roots, but parts of the thing that really sparked the conversation that got us to this point is the fact that you're from a multicultural background, right?
For sure. So my mom is 100% Syrian.
Okay.
And my dad is like German French.
Yeah.
So he's tall, blonde, fair skinned, blue eyed. And my mom was 4'11" and, very short, very dark eyes, dark complected, and came from a full Syrian family.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, they were from Detroit. So we would spend all of our summers in Detroit. I mean, there were times when I thought I thought I was from there because we would spend all of our time there. And so every holiday we'd go to Detroit. Now, my mom's folks relocated to Miami before I was born. So if we would go see her folks, we'd go to Miami, but they're from Detroit too.
Right.
And there's lots of stories. But coming down here, like my mom would tell this story when she was alive. And she left like about 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But she used to tell me when I was a kid, right when I went to grade school here in Shreveport, I went to AC Steer and they used to serve breakfast, right? You go there for breakfast. And we didn't have a lot of money. We were middle class people and living in Broadmoor. So it wasn't like, I never got to bring my lunch. I always ate the school meals, right? I ate school lunches my whole life. I still miss them. At least somebody would cook. And then, and for me, that's a big deal now because I don't have any food, but Right now, like she come home, she said, I came home and I asked for grits. And she's like, I don't know what a grit is. Like, I don't know what grits is.
Yeah.
Because my mom would serve us Arabic food, right? And all my friends would come over and we'd have Arabic food.
Yeah.
For just, and they would like it, I think. Some of them would like it, some of them wouldn't like it, but they would still tell me as an adult, they go, oh, I remember going to your mom's house and eating those grape leaves.
Oh,
Those raw grape
yeah.
leaves. And these aren't like Greek grape leaves. These are like Arabic grape leaves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The dolmas are the Greek ones.
Sure.
They're served differently. It's a totally different dish. I don't even think they have meat in them, but these were the old, these were ones where you get meat and rice and you pull them up. So my mom would make these every weekend.
Yeah.
Right? And this is how she was taught. This is what she did. And so my family, my mom's family was from this little city in Syria called Homs, which is not done well. I mean, you'd have to look at pictures of it. I think they're rebuilding it, but it got beaten up pretty bad in the last several years. So anyway, but they had very regional food and very regional dialect, right? And so we would call different words different things, and some other Arabic people, like other Arabs, don't know those words.
Right, yeah.
Like watermelon is patih in Arabic, and we call it jabbas. So they're kind of like, they don't know what jabbas is. That's what we would call it.
Yeah.
But anyway, little words like this along the way. But yeah, being in the South, no, there was nobody like me. And so it was fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was kind of this, I would never say I was ostracized. I would never say that, but it did shape who I am.
Right. Yeah.
This is like the most important part of that world.
Yeah.
So I would come to school, and I had friends, of course. Everyone got along, but it's still a little bit different. Just a little off.
Just something, yeah.
Just something, right?
Yeah.
Just enough to be a little bit. Plus, I was probably pretty hyperactive, and it's probably a little annoying. I don't know how I acted when I was a kid, but I know I didn't get good grades in conduct. And so I would, but like if I scratched myself, or something, I would have the kids would always tease me. I had orange blood. It's like, I'm like, orange blood? Yeah. Because my skin was olive colored, and for some reason, and I favored my mom, right? So everybody knew I looked a little different.
Yeah.
And growing up here, I would be associated with the Greeks with the last name Vekovius.
Right.
So I said, oh, you must be Greek.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not Greek, but that's nice. But that's who I would associate with that group.
Yeah.
And then I remember one time when I was I'm talking in my 20s. I was somewhere, and it was one of these Greek festivals, and this guy comes up to me. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm like a good Greek boy." like not like that, but like it being nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Greeks. And I was like, yeah, well,
like it's like strong.
Playing along, and I just played along. And then I remember when I was in high school, from high school to I don't know, easily my 30s, I looked like this man from Chile, from South America.
Yeah.
And his name was Fernando. And so people would come downtown, and he was very well known. He was an editor for the newspaper, and he could see him from downtown.
Yeah.
From time to time. Young man. He's older than me by about 3 or 4 years, but I knew his brothers, my same grade as me in high school. And I'd walk down the street, hey, Fernando. I was like, well, I know Fernando. He's a really great guy. I'm Stephen. And so I did that a couple times, and after a while, I just said, "I'm never."
Right.
I just, hey, Fernando. Hey, how are you? I just gave up.
So just to kind of give people some context for what you're talking about, you could pass for many things, right?
Many.
You could if somebody looked at you, they could say you look like Isai Morales a little bit. You look Hispanic, right? Or you look like any of like any Arabic tribe or
of course.
Yeah. And I will tell you, like, when this is the craziest thing, and I cannot believe like it took us like a decade and a half of knowing each other to actually have this conversation, because I have never even wondered like what your ethnicity is in all the time that I've known you. Because when I met you, you had such a big personality, and I was like, oh, that's just Stephen. But that also kind of goes back to like my upbringing, because in Trinidad we have so many races and cultures that are mixed together. And so my best, like the best friends that I grew up with, none of them look like me, and most of them don't look like each other. We have people of Indian descent, Chinese descent, like full Chinese. I am half Black, half Chinese. We have people of African descent, and it's just a mix. So we often don't really relate to each other based on our differences. We just kind of figure out what our similarities are, and then we connect and relate to that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, but coming to a place like Shreveport, which does not have that much diversity. I mean, and that's kind of what this whole podcast is about, is that I am treated like a curiosity a lot of times, especially when I open my mouth and people hear my accent. So I am sure you had to deal with that,
Oh my
but
gosh.
for slightly different reasons, but it's kind of the same thing, right?
Right. But that's exactly right. And it's fun though. But when you're a kid, it's not that much fun. But as I grew older, I kind of realized they just don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't know what I am. They don't understand. So as time went on, I went to middle my first day at school there, maybe the first week. I mean, my buddy was in class with me. He still laughs at it. We actually talked there on the phone, but we didn't talk about this, but we still talk. And
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson was our English teacher in seventh grade class. So it was the last sixth grade class before they split up middle school and grade school to where the sixth grade becomes part of middle school. It used to be part of grade school.
Okay.
And so elementary school.
Right.
And so he has this census, and the guy asked me of all people to take it to the office. So I read it on the way. I mean, I can read, and he says like white kids, and he's an old black man, right? Glasses, white kids, I don't know, 15, black kids 13, and then underneath it he wrote except Stephen Vekovius, who is ? Mexican. He didn't know what to do with me. So, I mean, this has been my whole life. I mean, no one knows what to do with him. So I take it to the office my whole life. I remembered exactly what that piece of paper said.
How did you feel in that moment?
I've assimilated with this. It's not,
and
it's a word that means a lot to me to assimilate, but I'm okay with it. I'm past this. I mean, even then I was okay with it. And when I was a kid, I was always kind of picked on in a way.
Yeah.
But I never took it personally.
Okay.
I always took it like these guys, they just don't know.
Yeah.
And you know what? And so I'll tell you, this is important to me to tell, because it's not just about your race or how you look, but it's about your culture of where you're from.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so my parents, right, my family's transplanted, right? And I know a lot of people can relate to this, but I would be in class, and I talked to, this was like all through grade school and in middle school even. I didn't really get it, right? And so they would go something like this. Oh, we're going to go see our grandparents. I'd be thinking, what are they? How are they going to get to Detroit? Like, I thought everybody's grandparents lived away. I thought grandparents were always enigmas. They were not real people.
They didn't live down the street.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I never knew you could do that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? And I remember this one girl, I was like, how are you going to see your grandparents and be back by Monday? To me, seeing grandparents meant you get in a car and you drive.
Right.
We didn't fly. We didn't have no money. We didn't have money. We would drive across country from Shreveport to Detroit.
And that's probably like a 13, 14-hour drive.
Yes. I mean, 1,100 miles.
Yeah.
And then there are these old people. And that's all they are, old people who sit around and complain about. And there's no, like my dad's family, there were no men. The men had all died. So it was just my aunt.
Right.
It would be my great aunt, his aunt, which is his mom's sister and their mom. So there's just three of them. That was it. Oh, wow. And the oldest lady was from Germany. So she was an old German lady. And the other two were, they were just old ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't do anything. And so then they would have to take us out of that house and plop us with my mom's family, which was 100 people deep, right?
Right.
We had cousins.
Loud.
We had everybody.
Food everywhere.
Food every Sunday. There was this area called Grosse Pointe Park, and it's a big swimming pool, is what I remember. I haven't been there in years. Big swimming pool. And every Sunday, they would put their food out, and there'd be 20 different foods, like, Arabic bread, and it's all Arabic food, right? It's my mom's family. My dad loved it. And so, anyway, that's all I knew about grandparents. So when they said, and I said, well, okay, I finally asked, like, where do your grandparents live? I was like, where are you going? She said, Rayville. I said, where's Rayville? So I had to look it up.
That sounds way more.
Yeah, like, what is this?
That seems like it's...
My goodness, it's an hour and a half down the road. I was like, oh. And I started to put it together. But what I didn't put together was people could do this.
Right.
This was the association. This was like, I don't understand. I was like, how can you see your Then I find out as you grow up and the world becomes a much different place. People live next door to their grandparents. People
live in
their
the same
parents
house.
take care of their kids. What? I didn't even know this. So this is part of learning different cultures, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it was this kind of fish out of water, right? A little bit. I mean, I had friends, don't get me wrong, but yeah, that also had people that didn't know what I was, and they would be happy to tell me and they would do their best guess because they call me a saying something, and I'd be like,
sand,
well,
not
guess.
Yeah. So sand, bleep, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was called that some, but not by somebody who liked me.
Right.
But so they knew I must have been, that's what I like. I was like, oh, good.
Yeah, at least you know you're not Hispanic.
At least you know I'm not Hispanic.
All right, so we're getting close.
Yes, I'm not Puerto Rican. Thank you. I'll take it.
And again, nothing against Hispanic people.
Oh my gosh,
because it's just that, like, that is not who you are, right?
It's just I'm not that nationality.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I loved it.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I could pass for anything. I mean, okay, so I could pass for probably any nationality. They thought I was Italian for a while. People would say,
you could pass. You look like you could be in like an Italian lobster movie.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now today, now I'm 55 years old. And now, though, having this world we live in, this DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, all of these, pronoun stuff, wherever we are in the world today, I'm a perfect person.
Yeah. You are kind of a unicorn.
Right. Now I'm like, the ugly duckling grew up, right?
Yeah.
Didn't get many dates in grade school. Now I got one. I'm a leg up now.
Yeah.
Now I'm a leg up so there was this photo shoot. Now, this is true stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody submitted my picture. It was my ex-wife. She said, can you do a 2-day photo shoot for some ads? And this is a couple of years ago, they paid me $1,000. Okay. This is true.
Yeah.
For 2 days. And they paid for all my food and a place to stay. And I would go to this photo shoot. And I kind of did some mock acting. I wasn't what they called me background, which is fine.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know anything about this. This is my first experience with it. And then the leads were called something else. Primary. They were called primary and background.
Yeah.
And you know me, within a day, I was primary. I was primary on the second day. And I was like, when I started looking at it, I realized they had black girl, black boy, white. These are men, I should say, women.
Yeah.
White girl. And then they had a kind of a studious, kind of like a professor looking guy. And then they had me. And then, I covered all kinds, like, check.
Yeah.
We got that one. We got that. Well, we got like 7 nationalities.
You were like the grout between the tiles, just to bring everything together.
It's funny you say that because I've always thought of myself that way. I've always thought of myself as mortar between the bricks. I didn't do grout between tiles.
Wow.
My whole life, I've always thought of myself as mortar because I'm not quite a brick, right? I'm not in one group, right?
Yeah.
In grade school, middle school, high school, I was not a clique. I was very diverse, right? Even in the nationalities, I was diverse in my behavior too.
Yeah.
So like, I remember in high school, I didn't have like a group of friends. I had 1 or 2 close friends. I'm still close friends with them today, but that's it. Same in college, 1 or 2, and that was it. But I would be invited to things, so I could easily fold into things, which was nice. And I think some of that comes from being around my mom, and this is where the tie comes back in for assimilation. So my mom had taught us at young ages. First, she was of a Syrian descent, but her mother was raised Syrian Orthodox in Syria. So when she came to the United States, they were Christian, like Catholic Christian-based religion. And my mom taught us so much about religion and other cultures from Detroit.
Right.
Like we would go back up there for the Greek festival. Yeah. My mom would tell us everything about the Jewish culture. She was a folk dancer. So we learned all this from my mom because in Shreveport, well, that isn't really, you're not going to learn that anywhere.
You have to know somebody.
Correct. Yeah. You have to be a part of some other culture to learn that culture.
Yes.
And Shreveport's a very small city. I mean, it's not really that.
Right.
And, which is fine. And there's nothing, there's not a judgment of Shreveport. It just doesn't offer those things. And so my mom would folk dance in Baton Rouge, and then being a wife of a professor or a studying professor, she learned how to cook all these meals. So here we are in Shreveport, and my brother and I would eat, we call them seaweed hot dogs of all things. And we've eaten seaweed all of our life with rice in it,
Sure.
and egg and pickles
Mhm.
and Spam of all
Yeah.
things. Well, here I am. I get married, and this woman, get married. And throughout those years, her dad ends up marrying this Korean woman. And you know what she makes? The exact same thing my mom makes.
Yeah.
Because my mom learned how to cook from all these Koreans in Baton Rouge while they're studying for their doctorate. And so anyway, we learned all this like weird cultural stuff that I know, and it doesn't apply here in Shreveport. I'm still perplexed as to how people even see their grandparents. I'm like, like I said, I'm a fish out of water. I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. But I learned all these things. And as I've gotten older, like I've eaten hummus my whole life. I've eaten, rolled grape leaves. We call it waradish. Some people call it warawali. We eaten kubi my whole life. And so I come across people today who are in their 40s and 50s, and they've never seen it, touched it, known it exists.
Right.
In this area. Like, I'm not talking about, but as we've gone on, there's other restaurants and stuff that have grown and come and gone.
So in the United States, from my experience, you kind of, if you are of a specific culture or race, you celebrate your thing, you have your holidays, and then other people have their thing and their holidays, So like, if you're Jewish, you probably don't participate in Christmas. If you're Hindu, you might do Diwali, and you may not do any Jewish festivals or Christian. But in Trinidad, we celebrate all of it. Like, we celebrate everyone else's stuff because we just love to hang out and party and drink. We are highly ranked in terms of the number of public holidays that we have. So like Diwali is a public holiday for the entire country. Christmas, of course, is a public holiday. You have Eid, which is Muslim. So for us, the default setting isn't really your own thing because you have your thing, but you also have access to everything else. And I think that really shapes your worldview in a way that when you come to a place like Shreveport, people almost don't know what to do with you.
They
right?
don't.
Yeah. But it also allows you, because you have this intrinsic understanding of participating in different cultures, you can move between groups as well, which you alluded to, right?
That's exactly.
So people always know that you are different, but they accept you because you can just kind of fold in. You're used to doing that, and you kind of have to do that because, like you said, your mom would just put stuff in front of you, and this is what you eat, this is what you know, right? And you don't go, well, gross, I don't like that, I don't know. It's just what you know.
That's how you were raised.
Yeah.
No, you're right. That's exactly how it's been for me. Is I've been able to easily kind of move from group to group. But I mean, I don't quite have a group of my own, which is okay. But I think what it is the group of my own is finding group in other people,
Right.
And I think part of it too is the person that I am is because of that. Like I said, I didn't hold it against anyone.
Yeah.
When they would say something awkward or rude, or I wasn't mad or something like this, I would just be like, well, okay, well, they don't quite understand me. But with all respect, I do have to say this. It's part of the way I think, because this is a story my dad will tell you. And if you ever meet my dad, he will tell you the story. I've heard this story my whole life. It's a very short one, but it's interesting because I didn't get it until I was like 16 years old, 15 years old. I didn't think there was anything wrong with this. So when you're a little kid, they ask you, what do you want to be when you want to grow up? Who doesn't want to be a Major League baseball player?
Right.
I'm like 3 to 5 years old. I want to be this. I want to be a fireman or I don't know, whatever you come up with. I never even thought about it. They said, what do you want to be when I grow up? And I said, I want to be a house. And I didn't think it was funny. Like, I was like, that was my answer.
Like, you were serious.
Like, I was serious. I want to be a house. And I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. My whole life until I was about 14 or 15. and sure enough, it dawned on me when I was about 14. Wait a minute, you can't be a house. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't be that. I didn't even think that was like out of the realm of possibility.
So in your childlike mind. You could be literally anything you want to be, and that extended beyond the norms of what kids are sort of programmed to
that
say.
was how I was wired my whole life.
Wow.
But truthfully, no, like I said, 55 today. Even today, I don't quite accept it because it's not a possibility. It's like I still don't. And it's funny because I think I told you this once before, but so I was up in New York. I don't know what I was doing. I was going to one of those museums, and you had told me this before when you were working with me. You mentioned that, and that towards the end of that relationship, and you weren't working with me anymore. I said, "Well, what are you going to do?" You go, Stephen, I think I'm just going to go keep chasing dragons. And I was like, yeah. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And it's funny. And then I go to New York and I was a poster on a wall. I think I even took a picture of it. And it said something like, still chasing dragons.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a metaphor for the wonderment of your life.
Yeah.
You still kind of said, you know what? I'm still not ready to be here right now. I'm still going to go forward. And that's the way I feel about that thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's probably a percentage of me, a very large percentage of me, not half of it, still believes that can be true.
Yeah.
Like that's the right answer. And so what that does is it takes away, it throws me into this humility is what it does. I find that's the part that's interesting to me, is that there's a humility that you learn from being, like you had mentioned earlier, multicultural, coming from a background of being able to be exposed to other like I guess festivals, is what you use,
religions,
and so now like some of my closest connections are like some Jewish people from New York. I have a friend who's a doctor. He's a Jewish man from New York, and whatever he talks about, it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I got it. I'm with you. I understand. And it makes it, there's a connection there.
Yeah.
And so I've noticed that each person in those types of communities, like my Chilean friend, and just people from other cultures, it's a lot easier to connect with.
And I think as we get older, because we are like looking at the third act, right? We are we're thinking about mortality, but you're absolutely right. I feel like there are people who are settled into their lives and they live this idea of what success is, and they are happy. And I look at them and I'm like, man, I love that for you, but that has never been me. And I've tried and I couldn't quite fit in, so I'm so comfortable with just traveling and like when I say travel, I mean like traveling through life and really just absorbing as much of the journey as possible and meeting the most interesting people that I can and having like meaningful conversations, because when I look back on my life, like that's the stuff that sticks. That's the stuff that feels like something found and something that is special to hold on to. I mean, money is great, comfort, all of that good stuff is great, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
No, I understand that completely, because part of my journey right now, is I'll go sit with people and have coffee. And so part of that is when we'll visit, we'll kind of dig into that realm of what life really is meaningful and what's meaningful to you right now. Because you get to that place where you're not, I mean, money is nice. I mean, I think money is, so the last 10 years I've taught inside of high schools.
Okay.
And I teach, and I'm not a school teacher, but I'm a volunteer, right? Because I have time now, and they'll call me in and I go, for the for the fall, I will do a business plan, kind of teach the kids a business. It's only one class every once a week for about 5 to 6 weeks.
Right.
But I go to every high school who wants it. So sometimes I go to 3 or 4 high schools in one semester. And then in the spring, I'll go in and do like personal finance. And you'd be surprised. These kids don't know anything, which is to be expected unless their parents have taught them.
Right.
Because there's no educational system at that age that has taught them anything, which is, I guess it's okay, but they're really getting to that age when they're especially sophomore, juniors, and seniors. One of the questions I always ask is who here has a job and who here, has done a business. We got to give them some frame of reference. Well, what I tell them is I say, listen, I want you to know something. This is important. Reserve the word rich for doing one thing, and that's describing chocolate. That's what it's for. The word rich is to describe chocolate. I said, and if you want these things in life, if you want to accumulate things like cars, and if you want a lifestyle that has that, and I'm saying it if you want it, meaning, it's something that you will have to work for. know that it's okay. It's okay to be a high income earner. That's what you want to be.
Yeah.
You don't want to be rich. Rich is it has a stigma to it. It has almost a negative connotation, right? But what you want to be is a high income earner. And I'll be honest with you, the most fulfilling thing you're going to get should you become a high income earner is to give back to your community,
Right.
in any capacity, whatever that looks like.
Right.
Because I'll tell you something, the money will be nice to have. You can buy the things that you think you want. And at this age, of course, I'm talking to sophomores, juniors, and seniors in high school, and some of them, money is a very strange thing. They don't know how to use it. They don't know what to do with it. And then I find out, and I was talking to them, I realize it's really not you I need to talk to, it's your parents. Your parents are the ones that don't know this. Remember the community I'm in. Some of the schools I go to are entirely impoverished, right? And, they're all 100% Black schools. And I'm going, why am I having this discussion with them? And so I'll actually change the curriculum, even though I'm not supposed to, but it's not a big deal. And I'll retool it for them. But I'll tell them that. I'll tell them that as you go through, those things you might not find the fulfillment that you think you're going to find. And that's okay. It doesn't mean don't pursue it. It means that as you go through there, you need to find what brings you joy in that income or in that lifestyle. But please know that it's okay. It's completely acceptable. There's nothing wrong with it in any religion. There's nothing wrong with it. If that's something that you want to aspire to do, as long as you're doing it legitimately.
Right.
I mean, as long as it's going to be something that's legal, right?
And moral.
Yes, of course. There's all of these ramifications I get too. But that's okay. I mean, it's okay. It's not your focus in life. But, some people are going to be high income earners. They might end up becoming doctors or lawyers or some sort of job that pays them a lot of money. And, and if you really want to know where your joy is going to come from, it's going to be coming from the joy of doing the job, not getting paid for it. That's the reward. That's what I noticed about myself is, sure, I mean, I never knew how much money I made. I didn't until I gave my taxes. I never knew. I would just remember the bill and I hated it. Do you know that? I was in business for 25 years.
I remember that billing was your least favorite thing.
I hated it because I hated to send them a bill for something that was so easy to me and fun.
Right.
It's like, I can't believe I have to do this. And I took the fun out of it for me. Like there was money. So dirty.
Yeah.
To me it was. And I was like, well, okay. And then, I don't believe in riches, but you should see where I live, right? I mean, it's a tough battle. I mean, it's a tough battle. Here I am in this beautiful 1,100 square foot house.
Yeah, I mean, but again, you are comfortable in this space. You have earned the right to know what is enough for you, and I think a lot of people don't ever earn that. They're chasing something that they never achieve, or maybe they are chasing something that they think that they want. And they kind of talk themselves into that, okay, this is it. I'm good, Oh,
well, some people are never fulfilled. I mean, I've been exposed to them countless times where the world is not enough. And you'll find if you dig enough, if you scratch that surface enough, you will find that it has something to do with some sort of comparison, some sort of something in life, some sort of value system. And we talked about this for a second. The other day was, I'll sit with the people that I talk to. Like a lot of people ask me to come talk to their children, right? Especially post college. I can't get them out of the house. What am I going to do? I don't know what to do with them. Why will you talk to them? And I was like, well, sure, I'll talk to them. And even now I have some college, like I have a post back student called me the other day. She goes, I need you to kind of, help me with this decision. I'm trying to decide whether I should get a job in Dallas or do this.
Right.
I said, okay, well, lay it all out for me. Let's talk. And she goes, and of course, when we're done, she's like, thank you for mentoring me. It's been really nice. And so I have this weird role that I get assigned every once in a while, a little tag.
Yeah.
And part of that journey is I'll look at these 5 values. And these 5 values are dictated by your belief system.
Okay.
So remember, this is not something that, and you can do this, but everybody's going to be different.
Yeah.
But I can still quantify it in some way.
Okay.
And they're your financial values. Like I talk to my students about that. That's what I've been asked to talk to them about. And then your psychological, emotional, right? But you have to be old enough to know what these mean. So you can't do this with a child, right? They don't know what this is. You have to do this with someone who is at least the age of college age or typically after college. So I usually talk about 22 to 30 in this range.
Yeah.
So psychological, emotional, spiritual, and then physical. Like your physical is so important. Like sometimes, and people come to the gym all the time, and I go to the gym every day. Like I go at 5:00 every day is where I'll go. So I'll go to the gym and I'll say something like, yeah, people are here to work out. No, a gym isn't for people to get fit physically. It's for their mental. To me, it's your body this is your mental workout just as much as it is your physical. I mean, if not everybody in the gym, to me, has a little loose cannon. They're a little loose, a little something loose. And it's okay. They need it. If they don't get that, then their whole body change. I know a lady, I talked to her, and she runs every single day. God bless her. In the heat she runs. She tells me, I said, I tell her, I said, and I'll be, I'm kind of streaky and I'll ride my bike for a few months. She goes, nope, I run every single day. And she does.
Yeah.
And her mental is so strong because of that. And all the things in the world that have to hit her, she's strong. So I only say that to tell you that your physical is very, very important. But I get these people and I ask them to do a little self-assessment. Where are you and what do you want? So these seem to be the directions that I go in when I speak to these people. Just take those 5 value systems and break them down. And as you do that, you can kind of learn where you are and what it is that can help you redefine what you want.
It's interesting you say when you mentor people and you talk about like their readiness to have that conversation, to listen and actually hear what you're saying. Like I tell people all the time, like I don't feel like I started doing real thinking until I was like 45. That's when I feel like I started actually like understanding things. So you seem like someone who is a lifetime learner. I feel like that's just baked into who you are, right? But when did you start making that shift into wanting to mentor people and sort of impart, like what drove you to this place where you are now, where you essentially live a philanthropic life in terms of wanting to provide guidance to people, mentoring people, teaching your neighbor's kid guitar,
Well, I can tell you this, and this is probably I knew this was coming because you could feel it. You feel it inside of you as you journey through this, right? You feel like, well, where am I supposed to be happy with this?
Yeah.
Because it felt like, and then at some point, and this is going to sound, I don't know, I'm not knocking anything. Understand this is not a criticism or admonishment for any reason, but I realize the narratives of what we're taught in this country, specifically the United States. I don't know what Trinidad and Tobago is like. I've never been, but specifically here, the narratives that you're taught, and what I mean by taught is you're influenced every single day. You're influenced by television. And even so, I don't have a TV because I do that purposefully.
Right.
Like I don't watch TV on purpose. I have no criticisms against anyone who watches television. By all means, if that's an escape for you. And or they say, well, people say all this, do you read books? I was like, no, I haven't read a book in 10 years. I don't want to read a book. I mean, I couldn't make it past the first page. I'd fall asleep. And so, no, I don't read books, and I play chess online sometimes with my phone. And that's enough for me. And the rest of the time, I like studying stocks and the stock markets and things that I'm going to teach about, which the kids are interested in this. Everybody seems to be interested in this right now. So what I noticed was the narratives of television and what you're taught in scripted content. And this is what you said, when did it really start? I'll tell you. I know exactly what happened. Like I said, I like to play chess. And chess has always perplexed me. I was terrible at it. Terrible. And I could never get past that stage of understanding how pieces moved, but what am I supposed to be thinking when I'm playing this game? And this gets a little philosophical, so just please bear with me. This is interesting. So there was a TV show that came out. This is back in my TV watching days. It was about this girl. It was called The Queen's Gambit. And it was a show about some little prodigy.
On Netflix, great show.
Netflix, great show, right?
Anya Taylor-Joy. I listen to the soundtrack all the time when I'm working.
Okay, good. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So I watched 3 episodes, right? And I'm watching her, and she's playing this guy in some championship type game. And, I'm watching her play, and I'm thinking to myself, is this story true? And because it was chess, because it was something that was
Mhm.
important to me, I had some connection to that.
Yeah.
I went and looked, and the story's not true.
Right.
It's based on something else, but it's not true.
Yeah, they probably took like 2 or 3 lines and then they extrapolated out.
But
And this
what-
happens all the time. And they say based on a true story or based on true events. Yeah.
So I realized it wasn't true. And I thought to myself, well, it's not true. Then the writer can make her do anything she wants.
Correct.
She can win any game she wants. She can play Alakai's defense. She can play the London system. She could open in any type of, she could do whatever she wants. Well, by golly, if you could do whatever you want, and then that was it. That was my turn off.
The Queen's Gambit.
The Queen's Gambit ended television for me because I realized that this is just fiction.
Yeah.
There's nothing about this story. And then, of course, somebody was a drunk, like her mom was a drunk or something, or something. Then, of course, here comes the standard narratives, right?
Yeah.
Here comes the villains. Oh my gosh! And then I realized I am being instructed on who I need to like and dislike.
Yeah.
I am being taught everything about love, villains. Everybody has to have a protagonist, and it's a story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I don't like this story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like the stories I'm told. And most of the stories, like even now, I want to go sit for 10 minutes and I'll watch a show and so now, jump to today, I sit around with my family, once again, a group. And of course, click, here comes the talk. Oh, would you watch the series of Hubbly Duppity? And I was like, and they're like, and I'm sitting there watching them in a circle where it's this table. This is a true story. This isn't a real one. And so they're like, yeah, did you see so-and-so? Can you believe John did something? Blah, blah. John did this. And did you know he was going to marry? No, I haven't seen that episode yet. He wanted to marry Susan, and Susan was, loved Kenny. And, oh, what? Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I have to wait. Oh, and so they're connecting, which is great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Please understand.
Right.
I think it's great that they connect over fictitious things that I'm with my family for about an hour, and I get to listen to them talk for about 10 minutes about something that isn't even real. And I'm going, my goodness, I look down on the watch I don't own because I don't wear a watch. And I was thinking to myself, well, I guess I'll just sit here and look at the ceiling and listen to y'all talk about something that isn't even real. And you can all connect, and they all connect. And it's it's once again back to assimilation. It's about connecting. And people connect with this. And it's totally acceptable.
Yeah.
It is. I didn't have one objection to it. It's just I don't fit in.
Right.
Back to not fitting in again. Back to being a fish out of water with my own family. Yeah. And so I don't. And so then you think I'm going to sell out, right? I'm going to go get a TV and watch Netflix. How could I? I can't believe the narratives that they're telling me. I try. Don't mean I do try every once in a while. Every once in a while, I'll sit down and watch a show.
Yeah.
And after about 10 minutes, I'll be like, oh my goodness. Well, I get it. I'm sorry. I get it. I totally get the story. I know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And it's okay. But people find that entertaining. I want them to have that. That's a very important thing for their lives. That's the way they decompress. That's the way they get out of that.
That's the way I do it.
That's the way, everybody does. That's very common.
First thing I do in the morning, Stephen, I brew my coffee and I sit in front of the TV and I watch about 20 minutes of a horror movie. And it could be something that I've seen before. It just, it kind of puts me...
Right. It resets you.
It does. It absolutely does.
And that's completely, listen, that's what resets you. And that's how you find that center that you need to do that. Because it really is about center. It's about being centered. It's about having clarity. So you asked, what was it? Where was the point? Where did you finally feel like? And so knowing this, and I think this is an important thing to understand about people in general that I've experienced to this point in life, is that people don't change until it gets bad enough. Yeah, people will not change.
Fair.
The problem is it was bad enough a long time ago for a lot of people. Yeah. And they don't know that. And so as they journey through this life, they don't realize it was bad enough. It's been bad for a long time. And you've just been dealing with it. So what we find, and then we have this enlightenment moment, or we have this time where I said, okay, I've had enough. What would happen if I just turned off the TV? Well, a lot's happened. I mean, it's a completely different world. No, I don't get to keep up with conversation. I don't know what John is. And the irony is Bill Joyce is a really great friend of mine. I mean, we talk all the time, and he is a movie fanatic. And I appreciate that about him, but I have no connection with him on those movie discussions.
Right.
But you know what? We connect in all different other ways about movies.
Well, hold on. I do want to say, because I think it's worth mentioning. It just makes this kind of more interesting and slightly funny. Like, the reason why we met was because you were basically supporting the entire IT infrastructure for an Academy Award, an Emmy Award-winning animation studio. So you were around people who all we did was talk about movies and TV and just on and on and on and act like it was the highest form of actualization ever. Like, we made cartoons for a living.
Well, I remember all of that. Yeah, I agree with you 100. I was around all of that. And so I never really engaged with the creative of it.
Yeah.
I would watch from the outside, from the fringe, right?
But you always did. But the thing that sets you apart, Stephen, is the fact that you never treated us with disrespect.
Okay.
If it's not for you, it's not for you.
Mhm.
But you never treated, all of the, as we call them, the kids. You never treated the kids like they were pursuing nonsense by playing video games for 7 hours a day.
Oh, no.
You would never do that.
I would support you 100. You get me 110%. So it's funny you say, and it's funny you bring up Moonbot. So there was a young man there named JD. Nobody ever knew his name. I still don't know his name. He was a sweet kid, and he had to come new. And I used to take you guys bike riding.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I did. Played soccer with you guys.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of this older person.
Oh, yeah.
This kind of like, you just ask Steve and he'll fix it, and then I'll come fix it. And I would always kind of just be called. I came out there 3 times a week, just for a few hours, but I would come out there to fix something or do something or set up something. Ask Steven and he'll fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one day JD I don't know where he's from, right? I think he works for Apple now. He looks at me and he goes, Stephen. He shook his head and kind of laughed when he said, he goes, what's your kryptonite? I looked at him. I didn't say a word. I just looked at him for a second. I don't think I was prepared to answer that question.
And that is the end of part 1 of our conversation with Stephen Vekovius. We will leave it on a slight cliffhanger, but I hope you join us in just a few days as we will have part 2 of our conversation where we dive deeper into our journeys of self-actualization. And I hope you enjoyed part 1, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye. Freshwater Yankee was produced by Jesse Stevenson Riley. Our contributing producers are David McMillan and Lauren Leon McMillan. Music was provided by Peter Sandy of Home Base Productions, and I am your host, Wendell Riley.